to Inside Tennessee along with my colleague John North. I'm John Becker, and we are going to talk about one of the most important issues facing our community right now, and there are some key decisions facing what growth will look like in Knox County in the next couple of weeks. This will change the way things look in this community, John. A lot of people say snooze fest. If you don't pay attention, you can't complain.
Well, we're living right now, I'm sort of a broken record. We are living in a key moment in the history of Knox County and Knoxville because of all the growth that we're witnessing. It's having an enormous impact on demand for infrastructure, on quality of life, a whole lot of stuff. So it is worth paying attention.
We're going to get into all of that. Susan Richardson-Williams, we know you're at home watching, so you better pay attention. Let's go to the map really quickly and talk about what we are focused on today. And this is what's called the Growth Policy Plan, and it's on your screen right now. And you can go to the Advance Knox website to look at this map and shift it the way you want. Danielle, if you move that cursor back and forth, you'll see how some things appear and then disappear. The red that disappeared there will appear on the new map as she moves right across there, and that's some of the planned growth area that will change from rural to planned growth if this plan passes. All right, let's get to our experts and get into the details of this effort. With us, 2 point people in Knox County on this plan that has been shaped by public input for the last 2 years. Jim Snowden is the Director for Knox County Engineering and Public Works. He's been in that position since 2018. Jim, great to have you with us.
Sir.
Also, Mandi Benedict, who is Knox County Constituent Services Director. Nice to have you with us as well.
Thank you.
We are also bringing into the conversation Andrew Roberto, who represents Knoxville City Council District 2. He had a chance to vote on this plan. You voted no, and we'll get into the reasons why coming up. All right, John, as we set the scene, and I'm going to give you the first question, but I want to just explain to our viewers this Plan A, which is the outline, the growth policy plan, has to pass 3 different bodies. It has passed County Commission, it passed City Council, it needs to pass the Farragut Board of Aldermen later this month for it to be ratified.
That's right. I want to start asking Jim and Mandi a question. What is the biggest misconception or misperception about what we are talking about? Because I am sure that there are some people who don't really understand or have maybe not quite an accurate idea. Clear it up, if you would, what you've run into.
I think the biggest misconception that we've heard so far is that this is going to take people's farms from them. This plan is not to take people's farms. This plan is just showing our boundaries where we can grow. And also, along with this plan, we are still protecting those rural areas. The mayor made a few amendments to the growth policy plan to speak to the density and also some infrastructure. So really, we are protecting the rural areas with this.
And
yeah, and I'd like to add to Mandi's point, in addition to that, we're not changing anybody's existing zoning. The zoning they have, the use that they have now, they'll be able to maintain that use afterward. So it is just, like you said, just a way of updating the plan, but it does not change the use of the zoning of the property.
Part of the effort for this is mandated by the state. We haven't gone through this process in 20 years, so Knox County had to do it by state law. Mandi, explain, the growth rate in Knox County is near exponential. We know people are moving to this community. So without this, what happens?
Status quo. I think we hear complaints month after month that people are not happy with infrastructure, people are not happy with the way we are building, schools are overcrowded. I think if this is not passed, then we stick with status quo in Knox County.
And Jim, Commissioner Beeler made a point when we were listening to the conversation about this in County Commission that if you did nothing, theoretically, you could see building out to Granger County in the east part of Knox County with 3 parcels per acre, and this, at least in outline form, even adds some restrictions to it.
It does. It cuts the density that's allowed in the rural area by 1/3, from 3 dwelling units to 2 dwelling units an acre, and that is, one of the mayor's big components when we started this process was, fiscal responsibility.
Explain what the point you're trying to make about the money that's tied to this.
Sure. The revenue versus expenses, we had a fiscal consultant look at this plan, and one of the things we wanted to do was really focus on reducing sprawl, that reduction of that 1/3 convert of 3 dwelling units to 2 dwelling units in an rural area. What we found out was the existing growth patterns we have put a drain on our tax base, and it's to the tune of $2 million annually. This plan, and the way if it is approved, will generate almost $5 million additionally, so that the net swing of that is $7 million.
Now, how does it generate that revenue? Is it through developer fees or what? Clarify that.
It's actually, and Mandi can elaborate, but it's different place types. Right now, the rural, the place types we have in place, like we can't have town centers in Knox County right now. Cannot, based on the current zoning. So this plan will allow us to create those things that will allow for retail and commercial surrounding residential areas to really provide more tax revenue for Knox County.
Any point you want to make there before we take a quick break?
This plan will provide more commercial in Knox County, which is exactly what we need for our sales tax to increase.
Okay. We're going to come back and bring Mr. Roberto into the conversation, who's been patiently waiting, and we'll talk about why you said no to this on City Council. We're back with that conversation right after this.